What's up, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of From the Lions Cove podcast. I'm your host, Marcelo. Today, I have a very, very special guest, my cousin, Jess Slagle, Jess Powell, the GOAT. Jess's resume is insane. Listen to this. College career at Bowling Green University, 108-24 overall record during her career. Insane. 56-8 record in the MACtion, the best conference ever. Shout out the MAC. 4-time MAC East Division titles, 3-time MAC regular season champs, 2-time MAC tournament champions, 2-time NCAA tournament appearances, and career high of 23 points. Insane. And then Jess's specific honors and recognition, right? All MAC second team, 2010, 2012, 2-time MAC player of the week, academic all-MAC team, NCAA Sportsmanship Award, Team Awards, Playmaker of the Year, and Franon and Marty Vole Senior Achievement Award. Jess's resume is nothing short of amazing. It is absolutely incredible. So I'm so blessed to have her on this podcast. So Jess, thank you.
Thanks for having me, Sella.
Of course, this is an absolute honor, and I'm so excited to get into these questions. Recently, you created the opening video for the Greater Cleveland Sports Awards. So for those that don't know, it highlights pretty much high school athletics, college athletics, and pro here in Cleveland. So how did that opportunity come about? And what did it mean to you to create something for Cleveland, that especially a city that takes, so much pride in their sports?
Yeah, it's always an honor to do anything about the city of Cleveland and sports in general. So how that came about is I've actually been working with the Sports Commission for about 10 years. I started when I worked for Fox Sports Ohio, Sports Time Ohio. So for those of you who don't know, they used to cover the Guardians, Cavs. We covered a little bit of Columbus Crew. Every year we'd either do the opening video or Lifetime Achievement or the Courage Award. You guys can look all those up. But it was an incredible partnership that allowed me to work on something that got seen in person by a large group of people. So that opportunity came about. I went freelance and they approached me about creating the opening video for the last 2 years. And last year it was about the last 25 years in sports. So that was really fun. Wow. I encourage everyone to go check it out. It was a highlight, essentially, of all the notable sports moments over the last 25 years. It was really, really neat. So, yeah, like I said, it's an honor to do anything about the city of Cleveland and sports, and it's just fun. So.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many historic moments throughout our time, both good and bad here in Cleveland. Obviously, I'm not a Browns fan, but there were a lot of bad Browns moments, but also too with the Cavs. Looking back on the 2016 finals, that was incredible. Looking at Rajah Davis home run, even big Christmas home run, which that was crazy. Just Cleveland just takes so much pride in their city, whether win or loss. We are so passionate about our teams. For example, I know the Cavs play Game 7 today, and I know Game 6, there were a lot of friends and a lot of people online that were pretty upset with the Cavs, but I know the Cavs will get it done today. I have faith. I really do. I have faith, but the Raptors are a tough team, and I have to give them a lot of credit. I really underestimated them.
If anything, Cleveland has faith.
Yeah, seriously.
Cleveland sports fans, we must have faith. Yes, so hopefully by the time that this episode comes out, we will be looking ahead to the next series.
Yeah, hopefully to the Magic as well. That would be huge. Cleveland's also so passionate about even, like the women's Final Four. That was one of the largest events here in Cleveland, and I know there were so many people that went to that. Number one, it was a historic Final Four. You had one of the best players of all time in Caitlin Clark, and you had Paige in there too. Mm-hmm. Just a lot of solid teams, and even South Carolina, they've been incredible over the past, 5 or 6 years. They've been really good.
Yeah, incredible. Just really fun to watch.
Yeah, so Cleveland always shows out for its, large sporting events, even for the NBA All-Star game here too.
Yeah.
So hopefully now that they're building the Brown Stadium, we can get a Super Bowl here or even a Final Four for like March Madness or a national championship. That'd be sick.
Yeah, in which the Browns will be in, right?
Maybe. So, Jess, when you're in the editing room, what's your creative process like from start to finish? And how do you decide what takes something from good to something that really stands out?
It all depends on what the end goal is, right?
Yeah.
Let's take the Sports Awards opening video, for example.
Yeah.
When I sit down there, I'm going through every piece of footage that I've earmarked throughout the year, all the notable moments that happen in the field of play, outside the field of play, and really just trying to encapsulate the energy of Cleveland. Our fans are always incredible, so always getting a little fan flavor in there. Great game calls, right? I am combing through every bit of footage that I have. I am a footage hoarder, so I've got terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of footage and sound bites and nat sounds and everything. Almost equally important is the music that I select.
Okay.
So I spend a lot of time on that. If it doesn't feel right, I have to get it just right, and I'm always looking for that perfect shot, you know?
Yeah.
So that is the most fun part, is to comb through things, find the exact right spot to put things, sound effects, and when it all comes together, you just hope that people have the same emotions about it as I do. Although I've watched it 200 times by the time that anybody else sees it. But to hear people say, Jess, that was dope, like I have goosebumps, that is exactly, as a video editor, what you want to hear. So I live for that.
Wow, that is incredible. So what's your mindset going into, I guess sitting down for a few hours and just editing? For me, I know it's really, it's really hard, and me and you have talked about that. It takes a lot of patience to edit. So what's like your mindset going into it?
Oh my gosh, my mindset, first and foremost, when I sit down to edit those, I need my desk clear and organized. I need my environment organized so that my brain can be organized. But you just kind of fall into it. I feel like with content creation, even the level that you've been at, the research that you did for this, the research that you do for all your podcasts, you just kind of, it just kind of swallows you.
Yeah.
Coffee fuels me. Caffeine, always got to have coffee. But I just approach it like I did every game too. When you step on the court as an athlete, like, let's go, right?
Yeah.
So some days it flows and some days it doesn't, which is okay. But, I love it. It's so fun. It's not work. It's all fun.
So are there any favorite clips that, you've had over the years? Or is there any clip that really stands out that, when you're throwing it into like a montage, you're like, yeah, that's the one that's going to give people goosebumps?
Oh, I don't know about goosebumps, but one of my favorite clips is of Jose knocking out Tim Anderson. That's one of my favorites. And that got a ton of traction when I put it into one of the opening videos. I saw on some socials. So many people were like, I see you sneaking in that Tim Anderson clip. That was one of my favorites, just because as a Clevelander, which I feel like I can call myself now.
You are.
Disclaimer, I am from Dayton, near Dayton, Ohio. I have not always been a Clevelander. So it just goes to the grit and the fight. And that was one of my favorite clips, for sure.
Yeah, that is an awesome clip. And even just like seeing it now just on like reels and stuff, like it's just so awesome. All like the fans, hype, and they're all like backing Jose. It's so awesome.
And you mentioned it. I mean, Rajai Davis's game 7 homer will always be tip top. And obviously Cavs 2016 championship.
Yeah. Just
that last 4 minutes or so. Oh my gosh. It's hard to compete with that.
Yeah, that was just peak basketball. It was peak. And also going to the parade too, just everyone having fun. Like there was millions of people there, literally just like on the streets high-fiving everyone. We took like the RTA bus from, I think it was from Shaker to the downtown, and it was packed. It was, I think we got up at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. to go. But
you did?
Yeah.
I just remember being at the ballpark when we were all there on the corner.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, the blockades were essentially useless because everybody kept squeezing in closer and closer to the cars whenever they came past us. That was so much fun. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was that was incredible. So just, I think my favorite Cleveland sports clip of all time has to be the big Christmas home run.
Oh yeah.
But only because after he hit it, MLB posted a TikTok of me and my best friend Dom hugging each other in the stands.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So that was probably one of my favorite moments too, just because it was against the Yankees, and we've obviously had a lot of battles with them over the years, and just their fans, even with the Cavs and the Knicks series. Oh man, just that was unreal.
Yeah, so much fun.
So Jess, you played at Bowling Green for 4 years. So, but specifically looking back on your senior year, was there a specific game or moment where everything started to click for you? Jess, your senior season was incredible. You started all 31 games, 12 points per game, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal a game. 1 steal a game is also awesome. I also love steals. That's one of the most underrated things in basketball. And as I've gotten older, I definitely realized that. In high school, I definitely didn't. I was more about offense for sure. You led the team in assists, 2.5 a game, ranked 3rd in scoring, 4th in rebounding, 13 points per game in MAC play, and you were 3.1 assists in conference play, which was the team leader. Jess, you were truly a team leader, a winner. Your senior year, you were incredible. So was there a specific game that really shifted the entire season for you?
Honestly, Marcelo, I haven't heard that stat line in forever. If you had asked me how much I averaged, I would not have been able to tell you. Just that we had ourselves a great time. There is not a specific game necessarily. There was a lot of buildup for me personally to my senior season. I played behind some historic players at BG. Lauren Prohaska was the year ahead of me, who's Bowling Green's all-time leading scorer. We're talking 2,200 points across her 4 years. We had Tracy Pontius was our point guard, who was a historic three-point shooter. I played behind some really, really great players. So I was ready for senior season in the best way. I think it was the best thing to play behind players like that and play with players like that. I just remember I was always a shooting guard, let's say typically in the 2 position. And I remember leading up to the season, things just weren't quite working. And my coach pulled me into the office and said, "Hey, how do you feel about playing point guard?" And I was like, "Oh, okay. I mean, if that's what we need, but that just doesn't feel, are you sure?" And we never looked back. I don't know if it started at the beginning of the season or a couple games in, but we never looked back, and it clicked and it worked. And so I don't know about it clicking, but that in a way, when I got some confidence that I could be point guard and be successful at point guard. I mean, come on, this as an athlete, confidence changes everything.
Everything.
Right? You get some positive reinforcement, things work, your teammates trust you. I had 3 years of experience just being a good teammate. So that, I think, was so important when it came to stepping into that point guard role.
Yeah. So then when you were a point guard, being a shooting guard, I feel like, you're kind of like one of the main scorers on the team. Making that transition to point guard, were you a scorer first, or did you become pass first?
A little bit of both. I loved to distribute, but I'm a slasher by nature. Yeah. I was never at home behind the 3-point line necessarily. I just, from a very early age, jump shot. So I definitely was pass first mentality, but I think being the point guard, everything runs through you.
Yeah.
And we needed scoring on our team too. Yeah. So I had to kind of learn to make my mark in there. So yeah, a little bit of both.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's hard too, because nowadays in today's sporting world, the point guard at times is also the main scorer now.
Yeah.
Which, you know, we've seen even just like, you know, whether that's NBA or like WNBA, you have these guards that are score first. And I feel like in a team like transition, I always loved playing with like a pass first point guard, because like I knew, for example, that if I had a good point guard that would trust me, you know, then obviously I know I can give it to them as well. You know, I can also dish it to them. Like my point guard Donovan in high school, like he was always pass first. He was always trying to look for someone, always trying to, you know, find a way to get the ball to you, and that was awesome. But throughout today's game, I've definitely seen the change of more of like a, you know, scoring first guard.
Well, and he knew when to turn it on too. I think that's an important note. Is he knew when he needed to score too.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching you and Donovan. And I think that is an important distinction, right?
Yeah.
You know when to distribute, and you know when you need to score.
Yeah, for sure. So this ties into my next question. So you had some incredible performances, including your career high of 23 points, which is awesome. 23 is a very lucky number, so that is awesome. So when you were on the floor, were there certain spots, plays, or shots that you feel like you had an advantage over others?
Always on the ball screen. We were very, very heavy ball screen.
Yeah.
Always, because our guard play was always very strong. So, called power.
Okay, power, yep.
This is the power. Pass to the wing, ball screen, and that's my bread and butter. So much can be done off a ball screen.
Yeah.
I'm biased because that's what we ran all the time. But yeah, that's always where I felt I had an advantage. The irony, by the way, of that 23 points, it was the last game of my career, actually.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny that you bring that up, because it did take me my entire career to score 23 points, but I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the notable thing about that was in the first game of the WNIT my senior year against VCU, and there was 5 seconds to go, and I got fouled, and we were down 1. Right? What, like you practice every day in the driveway, right? You step up to the free throw line, down 1, you got to make both free throws. And I was like, holy crap. I mean, it's taken me 4 years to get to this point right here. I have to make these 2 dang free throws. Yeah. And I don't know how the first one bounced in magically. And then I made my second one. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We're going to win this game. I just made 2 free throws with 5 seconds left. And then the VCU guard, they inbounded it. She drove the length of the floor and had a running floater off the backboard at the buzzer to win. Oh. So my point being is I would happily trade my 23 points for a win.
Yeah, for a win.
But I went out on a high, so to speak, personally, which was wonderful, right? Yeah. So it's funny that you bring that up.
There's some very special moments that, you know, happen with, you know, 3 seconds left, or even less, just hit the game winning shot.
It's not fun to be on the other side. That's all I will say.
No, it's not. And Jess, I always remember you telling me that, you know, you thought the mid-range shot was one of the most underrated things ever. Do you still believe that, and why?
Yes, it feels like a lost art now, because we're so, you know, Caitlin Clark made her living behind the 3-point line, right? And it looks great, right?
Yeah.
When you're flowing and threes are falling. But absolutely, I want to see a resurgence of the mid-range game, because I do think it's so important. And if and when my girls play basketball, you better believe mid-range is going to be top priority.
Yeah.
Because I just think so much can be done there. There's such a high ceiling, and it's so important to get that part of your game honed in.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Even now, like, the pull-up mid-range during the men's games is unstoppable, right? Because, you know, I'm playing in these, like, men's, like, rec leagues, right? But they don't understand about the mid-range pull-up.
No.
It is awesome. And I wish I would have learned that more throughout, like, my time playing, just because, you know, just pushing the ball in a transition, just hitting a nice little, like, you know, 5-foot shot. It's cash. I can't wait to see Maeve and Quinn, you know, get the pull-up midi.
We can only hope.
Yeah, exactly. So during your time, you were a part of some incredible winning teams, incredible teammates, and you still go back for a lot of alumni events. Like your it's like the annual game.
Yeah, it's an alumni game every year,
Yeah.
which we're so fortunate that they, still carve out a game in time for us. Honestly, that strong sense of loyalty started from the second that I stepped on campus, and it started from our coaching staff. We were always just a really, really tight knit group. And I was also recruited by Michigan State, and then I went on my official visit there and thought, yeah, this is where I'm going to go. I mean, how can I say no to Michigan State?
Yeah.
And then I went to BG, and just the people there were incredible. The team was incredible. The coaching staff, you could just tell that everybody practiced what they preached, and they won a lot, which was obviously very attractive.
Yeah.
But I still have teammates that I talk to. We still have a text chain, and I still talk and keep in touch with people who were older than me, who are younger than me. It was really, really, really special there because of the people.
Yeah.
I mean, the wins came, yes, and obviously winning always, always helps. But just the people that we had, I mean, those relationships will last a lifetime.
Yeah. So as people, obviously, you and your teammates, you guys all go throughout different paths of life, wherever life may take you. How does that bond like remain so strong? Because I feel like, as I've gotten older, I've seen, friends, childhood friends kind of go their own paths, and, that I've been on certain teams with, and you were a part of some incredible teams. So how has that bond remained so strong?
Well, when you go through something like college athletics, I think you just form a bond that just never goes away. Whether I talk to someone every month, every year, if I hadn't seen them in a year or two, in some way, shape, or form, it's an instant comfort because I had to sit next to you on the wall while our weight trainer was putting dumbbells on our legs. I mean, just through the absolute most painful situations, right? The highest of highs and the lowest of lows of college athletics. And I think there's something to say for that, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, it started with our coaching staff that created that culture. And it's not an easy culture to emulate. There were plenty of people that I knew from other schools that didn't even room with their teammates.
Really?
There were some teams, I mean, we had houses full of teammates, right?
Yeah.
And we wanted to hang with each other outside of basketball. We had themed get-togethers, and we just had a blast. It was so fun. It really, really was so fun. So for some teammates, that touch base is different.
Yeah.
Some teammates I talk to, like I said, monthly, every other month. I think it's also the understanding that everybody has their own lives and kids now. But we tend to try to get together every alumni day.
Yeah.
And then what is wonderful is that in Cleveland, we host the MAC tournament. So, if BG's in the MAC tournament, everybody's, for the most part, everybody's coming into town.
Yeah.
And we're having ourselves a good old time. So it's pretty unique.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy I've never regretted BG for a second. Even the coaching staff, I still talk to them every once in a while, and yeah, pretty unique and pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, having just great coaches by your side, like me and you talked earlier, builds a lot of confidence. But when you have a coach that really believes in you, and there was actually one clip that I saw, I think it was like the Maryland coach and the Maryland player.
Yeah,
that was awesome. Just seeing like a coach, telling to her player, like, yes, I believe in you, like you can do this, you can change the game, and like her play just stepped up. It was awesome. It was so cool just to see that, clipped. And like, yeah, like there are so many coaches out there that really put belief in their players, and that can really be the game changer throughout their path in life.
Yeah, and if you saw the follow-up interview to that with the player, it's so important to note that she said, she knows that's how I want to be coached. She knows I want to be coached hard. And I just thought that was so cool of her, and it was so eloquent and felt so poignant because it speaks to, like you said, coaches knowing their players, knowing that not everybody wants to be coached like that. And I love that she said, Coach knows that's how she gets the best out of me, is I want to be coached hard. I just thought that was the coolest thing. It gave me goosebumps when I watched it.
Yeah.
Just such a good example that it's not always bad, especially in women's sports. That intensity sometimes does get the best out of players, right? And I loved watching that. Coach Freeze is she's been at Maryland for a long time.
Yeah.
And I had such respect for that moment. It was really cool. I was ready to go after that.
That is so awesome. So stepping into March Madness, you played in March Madness twice.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. So what hit you first? The speed, the pressure, or the realization of what stage you were on?
Kind of the realization of what stage we were on, because you come off this high winning your conference tournament. In the MAC, that's the only way that you're going to play in the NCAA tournament, is if you win the MAC tournament. Rarely does a MAC team get an at-large bid. So I remember, the first time that we made it to the NCAA tournament, we played in Louisville, and we played Michigan State, ironically. And as an athlete, warming up across the other team, you always do an eye test, right?
Always.
And they had this girl, Alyssa DeHaan, who was 6'7", 6'8". I stayed with her on my official visit, ironically. Yeah. But you're like, oh, yeah, we're like in it now.
Yeah.
You know? And then when we played Georgia Tech, my junior year, they had a girl that was like 6'5" and just built. There's probably, I think there's a picture of me somewhere that I got switched on to her and I was guarding her, and I like my head like comes up to like here on her.
Oh my God. So
you realize very quickly, oh, we're not in the MAC anymore. You know, these are players from the ACC or the Big Ten. And the flip side of that is it was such a cool environment to play in when you realize, wow, we made it to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Rarely ever does a person get to go once, let alone multiple times. So, yeah, the stage can be pretty intimidating, but overall, I mean, how cool is that? So
awesome. Like, going into a big environment like that, did you have a specific like pregame routine? Did you like change anything about, I guess your routine going into this game, or no, just kept it the same? No. So, like I told you, there was a lot of preparation leading up to my senior season. Yeah. And unfortunately, we only made it to the WNIT my senior season. So sophomore, junior year, I was just there to boost. Right? Yeah. Like, be a great teammate, encourage. I got to play, don't get me wrong, but I was going in there, I'm not afraid of anything because, you know, I'm just here to amp up everybody else. Yeah. So that was kind of a fun position to be in, too. There wasn't as much weight on my shoulders, if you will. I wasn't Lauren Prohaska. I wasn't Tracy Pontius, as I mentioned before. Yeah. So I got the advantage of, not having as much pressure on my shoulders, so I could just go in there and play. Yeah. And I'm sure too, I know like going into like a game, it's very stressful. Sometimes it's very, you know, full of anxiety, but you know, I'm sure then you really just like were able to take it all in and really just be present in the moment. Yeah. Oh yeah. I still remember walking into St. John's Arena when we played Georgia Tech my junior year. Like the old Ohio State arena, and all the seats are wooden seats, and it feels like they kind of go up straight up around you. Yeah. And Ohio State played after us, so a lot of the Ohio State fans came early and watched us play too, so that felt like a complete home team advantage. Yeah. Unfortunately, we weren't able to pull it out, but yeah, I'll remember that forever. Wow. Yeah. That is so awesome. Was there anything that really like solidified, like, yeah, I'm here, like I'm here? Like, was there stepping off the team bus, eating a team meal, I guess traveling to the arena, was there anything that really like solidified it, like specifically for the NCAA tournament?
I mean, I remember watching as a team on Selection Monday, and we were filmed being, celebrating when our name was called. I mean, talk about surreal, but it doesn't sink in until, the ball tips off and you're like, okay, we're ready to go. This is the NCAA tournament. What's going to happen? Because I'm not sure if you knew, but in 2006, not that long prior to us, BG had gone to the Sweet 16. So
wow.
The path was laid out,
Yeah.
Didn't quite get there, but it had been done before. So that felt promising.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But overall, like I said, just an unbelievable experience.
And then you said that was in 2006?
Yes, I believe 2006.
Yeah, I was 4 years old, so I was probably watching Thomas the Train, Jess.
Little different. I'm sure you were watching basketball at that point.
Yeah.
I feel like you've been watching sports since you were like 2.
You're right.
Yeah, I know.
But come on, I was obviously a big Thomas the Train fan then. Come on.
Yeah, a little different.
That is so awesome. So, you kind of mentioned this earlier. You had your visit with Michigan State, but at the time when you went through the recruiting process, what mattered to you the most? And how do you think that compares to athletes now when they make decisions because of NIL?
Back then, I thought I knew what was important. I was searching for that proverbial feeling that everybody gets, like, this is it. This is where I want to go.
Yeah.
And I didn't put much stock in that. And then I felt it when I went to BG. And I thought, oh, this is what they're talking about. Because I was pretty set. I really just took the visit with Bowling Green thinking, I'm just going to go. I already committed to going on this official visit. And then they just completely blew me away. And I can't say enough about my time there and the people I met there. And so I can't really speak to the motivation nowadays. I think NIL just throws so much into the mix. The transfer portal throws so much into the mix that, like I said, I can't speak to.
Yeah.
But I would assume players still look for that feeling, like this is it feeling.
Yeah.
That may change over time. I don't know. But yeah, once you get the gut feeling, you'll know.
Yeah. I mean, like, even just deciding where I wanted to go to school, like, looking at John Carroll, like, I just kind of went there just because, like, number one, there were so many, benefits. It was close to home. My family's here. My best friend's going here. So it was nice. There were a lot of, like, reasons why I wanted to go here. But kind of after I graduated, I started to have more appreciation. Like, wow, like, that was really it. Like, that was it. So now, like, having those memories, like, looking back on all of it, I'm sure it's changed throughout the years now, because now, money, for example, players will, transfer to these, smaller schools or even larger schools because, they're willing to give them more money.
Yeah, it's all really, really, really interesting, especially seeing from afar, some of these deals that players get. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to speak to because I'm not in it.
Yeah. But
we like to joke about what NIL money we would have gotten back in the day, maybe from like Taco Bell, because we frequented in there a lot.
Yeah, Taco Bell sponsorships. Hey,
yeah.
Hey, you actually probably could have posted like an ad for Taco Bell, like, hey, like, I'm Jess. I'm here with Taco Bell today. Say we're gonna make Doritos Locos Taco, or say we're gonna make,
I probably would have, honestly. I loved to do team videos all the time. We did a scavenger hunt one year. Yeah. That I organized for everybody and sent everybody off with cameras because they had to do certain things, not just find certain things. Yeah. And then one of my favorites was we did. Have you heard the song SOS? Like the really old song. SOS.
By Rihanna?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Come on.
So we got stuck in DeKalb, Illinois one year after we played Northern Illinois. Thank goodness we won. But we got stuck because of this huge snowstorm. Yeah. So I made this SOS music video.
Jess, that was TikTok before TikTok.
That was TikTok before TikTok.
Yeah, it's so funny because I see like players, I remember after Ohio State won the national championship, like they all went to Canes and they were like making Canes orders and
Oh,
stuff,
really?
like doing all of that. Yeah, it's like it's crazy the amount of like food sponsors there are, the amount of um I've seen like Peloton, I've seen like the craziest things, like even some like big, I'm trying to think, like big name brands. I know McDonald's is one too. There's a ton.
And I think it's local and national sponsorships. It's that world is so incredibly interesting because as a young kid I say now, but as a young athlete, that's a lot to juggle, right? On the court, off the court, in the classroom. That's a lot. I don't envy that decision.
Yeah.
Adding another, I think, piece to the puzzle is complicated.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot for sure.
Yeah.
So take us back to Lehman Catholic High School. When did basketball stop feeling just like a sport and start feeling like something that was bigger for you? Your career, incredible again. 1,344 career points, average 17 a game, two-time All-Ohio selection, Division IV Player of the Year, Team MVP twice, McDonald's All-American nominee. Hold on, let me say that again for you. McDonald's All-American nominee, district champion, and state championship team with the 30-0 season. Take us through it.
Just to note that was for volleyball. The championship 30-0 season was for volleyball.
Really?
Yes. I did play volleyball as well.
Hey, multi-sport athlete right there.
Yeah. At Lehman, we were a Division IV, very small Catholic school. Okay. Yeah. But I did play also AAU for Dayton Lady Hoop Stars. And that was really where we got the exposure. I think I told you, I believe every single one of my teammates went D1.
Yeah.
So it's hard to pinpoint for high school, like a specific game in a Lehman Catholic uniform. It was probably more so a Dayton Lady Hoop Stars uniform, which I think I still have somewhere. But I don't think until like junior year did I really start thinking about playing in college. I remember having some success at the AAU level and thinking, okay, I can make a mark here. I think it's time to start looking beyond high school.
You referenced your AAU team. How did that kind of play into your, I guess, your passion for playing at that next level?
Oh my gosh. So ironically, I played for a very small town AAU team.
Yeah.
Prior to my 8th grade year. So 8th grade, I have a knack for in my last games scoring career high. So my 8th grade year, we were in the championship and I scored 29 points, higher than my collegiate career high. But there was an AAU coach there for Dayton Lady Hoop Stars and saw me play and said, you should come play for us. One of my teammates was going to play for them. And so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But I was playing up an age group. So the reason I tell you that is I played a year with them. And then the following year, there was a rule handed down that you couldn't play up an age group.
Really?
And I was devastated. Okay, I was devastated.
Yeah.
They were like, if you want to still play for Dayton Lady Hoop Stars, you have to play for your age group.
Wow.
And I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to this tryout. One of my good friends, still to this day, Justine Ratterman, also did the tryout. And basically, we called each other afterwards. We're like, okay, like if you play, I'll play. And so it's very much shortening the story, but the rest is history, okay? Because Justine went to play on at Dayton, had a historic career there, won her own championships. My point guard went to Harvard. You know, Michaela Roof went to Stanford. We had Indiana State. We had Ohio State. And it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, okay? And it was all by happenstance.
Yeah.
Which is one of the coolest things that I love to look back on because fast forward to today, things happen. But I think having that experience in my life made me realize that everything truly does happen for a reason. And sometimes that adversity that you go through leads you to some of the best things in your life. So I love looking back on that memory just to remind me now when things happen today that maybe that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Because look what happened. I still keep in touch with my AAU teammates to this day. Yeah. So I've had really good experiences on my teams. Yeah. So I'm quite lucky.
Yeah, that is so awesome, Jess. And it kind of like reminds me too as well, based off what, you said. After basketball, I created like my own, 3-on-3 league with like 30 of like my best friends from high school. And I started to realize, what, maybe it wasn't about like, just the pure love for the game. It was about the people that, I was around, just getting to see friends that I, don't get to see every other day or that I don't really talk to. Just getting together and just being able to, share an experience, have fun, catch up. Like that's really what it was about. That was something that I really was passionate about. And, we get to like, look back on those old videos and those old stats. Like I have a bunch of old books, like, from when we played at like, my friend Morgan's house or when we played at my house, like, and we just have like funny and a bunch of like crazy stories that happen. So, it's really about the people that you're with and the path that you go down. You don't know who it's going to, connect you with, but,
hindsight's 2020, my friend.
Yeah. Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah. And now we're here.
Yeah, we're here. Yeah, I mean, same thing even too with like the podcasting as well. Like, I worked at a cemetery last summer, which I don't know if I even told you about this, but it was crazy. So, I show up to work the first day, and I've done landscaping pretty much like my whole life, obviously, especially in our Nona's backyard. She has a huge garden, so of course I was always back there doing work with like my dad. But so I show up and I'm meeting everyone, and I happened to go in for like a quick break. I was outside like mowing grass or like weed whacking. I'm not sure what I was doing. And I walk in and I end up meeting this guy named Luke, and played basketball professionally overseas for 12 years. Practiced with like the Cavs, like LeBron, Kyrie, like knew like a bunch of people. And it's so true. Everything happens for a reason. And before, he left, he was here for like a few months. He hopped on the podcast, and we got to talk about his career and his life. And it was always my goal to like, reach someone of, I guess like a D1 level, because I've always been used to, interviewing D3 and D2, and that was like really like my first one back in like November. So it was cool. Everything just happens for a reason. And it's like after that podcast, I was like, wow, I can really like, do something with this, and I can kind of go forward and, plan out who I want to interview next. So obviously I wanted to interview you for, like the longest time.
Here I am.
But yeah, exactly. So it's really cool how everything happens just for a reason.
Yeah. And that's a credit to you, Marcelo, too. Give yourself a little bit of credit. You're a people person. So as passionate as you were about basketball, I think you are equally as passionate about connecting with people. So pat yourself on the back.
I mean, me and you both. Come on. So, Jess, when you think about your future kids playing sports, shout out Maven, Quinn, love you both. What's most important to you that they take away from the game, but not just with basketball, but the life lessons that sports teaches you?
Sure. I mean, there's so many things, right? That's why it doesn't matter what the sport is. I would love for them to play a sport, but whatever it is, obviously Anna and I will support them. But I just love the team aspect of it, and there are so many roles within that. I'm sure you have felt this way at times. You can't always be the guy. You can't always be the girl. So there's adversity in that, realizing your role and then being the best role player in that specific, part of the team that you can be. That's really hard. That's really hard to accept, right? And then just the team aspect of it. There are so many intangibles I don't think that you're going to realize for years to come that happen. But for me, considering all the experiences I just told you about and the people that you surround yourself with, I think that's huge too.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Is surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals that want to win.
Yeah.
I just want them to want to win. And then to handle losing and failing gracefully. I didn't always do that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily expect them to, but to be alongside them when that does inevitably happen and to be able to teach through that, I'm so excited about. Because I don't care if they're the best player on the team. I don't care if they're the worst player. I do want them to be the hardest worker.
Yeah.
Right? And I think athletes just are built different in general.
Yeah.
There has to be some desire there to want to win and to be the best. And I think those kind of people go on to do great things. The fact, I told you before, the fact that you do this on the side outside of your full-time job, right?
Yeah.
Says something about you. You know, there's a drive there to want to be successful. And yeah, just the team aspect, working with other people, because you're going to be working with people your entire life.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm just excited at the prospect. Whatever they do, I hope they're passionate about it. And, you know, we'll be there. I had fantastic support throughout my entire career of athletics. I literally, when I was little, I specifically remember my grandpa, it was cold. It was just like city league soccer.
Yeah.
And my grandparents would come to almost every game. My grandpa rubbed my feet
Yeah.
to keep them warm and put them back in my cleats. I remember that, like, to this day.
Yeah.
Probably 30 years later. And I hope that for them too, that they get to feel special like that. I don't know. Sports just brings so much good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. And like one thing that always like stood out to me as well, I'll never forget in the 8th grade, like I was not good or like coordinated really.
So the same as now.
Hey, come on. but actually, yeah, sometimes I've kind of lost my dribble moves a little bit now.
Me too.
Even in like the men's league, I'll try to like do a crossover and then
I know.
and then I just turn the ball over out of
Age
bounds.
is terrible.
Yeah, it
Don't grow up.
yeah, it's sad. But I remember he like told me, he's like, Marcelo, like, or I'm sorry, Uncle Mark, I was at Marina's grad party. And Uncle Mark was like, Marcelo, like he's like, you have so much potential, like just kick it into gear and just do it. Cause I feel like I've always heard my parents say that to me, like, hey, you can push yourself, you could really do this. And I feel like it was just so hard just to bring that out of me. But once I saw like people around me per se say, hey, you can really, you know, do this stuff with the podcast, do this stuff with like basketball, like that really changes like your mindset and kind of kicks it into like a different gear. So when I started surrounding myself with people that wanted to see me win and really just to keep working hard, that just turned it into like a whole nother like level. Even like studying for like the CPA, it stinks, you know, sometimes just sitting there for 5 hours just watching videos and doing questions and on repeat. But it's like when you start that from a young age and, you know, continue it on as you move on throughout your career, it just gets so much easier.
Yeah, you've had pretty good role models around you. And I think that matters too.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have hard workers around you, I think you tend to do it without thinking about it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and too, I mean, even with like, you know, our family, like, and especially yours as well, you know, your side of the family, like I feel like we've just always had a close bond with, you know, our siblings, our cousins, our, you know, aunts and uncles. So that definitely plays a big role into it.
Yeah.
So Jess, the last question, at this point in your life, what's a quote or mindset that you lean on every day that keeps you grounded through everything that you've been through, the ups, downs, challenges, adversity?
One of my favorite quotes is probably, "Do no harm, but take no shit." That's my favorite. I'm an optimistic person, naturally. I just am. I'm always going to see the bright side. But I never allow myself to be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's more of on the personal side of things, not necessarily an athletic, you know, perspective. But yeah, I've always resonated with that quote.
Awesome. But Jess, one last thing. The WNBA is officially coming to Cleveland here. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited for that. So just talk a little bit about the growth we've seen in recent years from the WNBA and just women's hoops overall.
Yeah, you'd have to be blind not to notice it, right?
Seriously.
I mean, we're getting record numbers because we have incredible athletes out there. And all those athletes have stories, and it's incredible. It's incredible to see it get the recognition that it deserves. We're talking pro teams. Columbus is about to get a pro soccer team.
Yeah.
We're about to get the WNBA. How cool is that? That I can bring my girls, my kids, to those games, and then they can see what's possible. I just think we are in such a unique position here in Cleveland, too, that we have access to so many pro sports.
Yeah.
I went to the closest thing. I think the Rockers were still a thing when I was in junior high, but I remember my mom taking us to a WNBA game, taking us to an Indiana Fever game.
Yeah.
And that was just mind-boggling. But to have access to that now in our home city, that's just so cool. And it speaks to the growth of the game, too. I mean, there's expansion franchises popping up, I think, over the course of the next at least 3 years.
Yeah.
I love it. And I think if you're a part of it, you want to continue to perpetuate that growth, right? So if there's a NWSL game here, we're trying to go. If there is a professional women's hockey game anywhere nearby, that's still on our bucket list to go.
Yeah.
I think just supporting women's sports in general is so important, and yeah, it's just fun to see it get the recognition.
Yeah, it's so cool, and like I'm so excited to have another team to root for here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Obviously, we love our sports, right? So the more teams we can add, the better. So
yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Well, Jess, that'll do it for this podcast episode. Thank you so much for being a part of this. It was truly incredible, and I love you very much.
Love you. Thanks for having me, Sella.
Of course. Well, that'll do it for this episode. Make sure you all like, comment, sub, share with friends and family. Jess, do you have any last words for the podcast?
No, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Of course. So like, comment, sub, share with friends and family. Use code Lions Cove, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.